Hello viewers and welcome to Lucy Mworia Network, and once again thank you so much for the continuing support. Thank you so much for the following and for subscription. If you have not subscribed yet, please do subscribe. You're gonna miss a lot. Our topics continue between our elderly people and our parents and our young people. Today we have a young lady. In the previous shows we had a young man giving his views on why the disconnect between the parents and their youth. Today we have a young lady and we are going to engage her in another topic. Lately we have seen a lot of young girls being killed, being thrown on the 50th floor, 60th floor of the buildings. All these are love triangle issues. And young ladies also have all ventured with old men, old wazes, they call them sponsors. Let us hear today from our guest, who is Esther Nyoje. Esther Nyoje is a content creator, she's a political analyst, and very passionate about social issues. Esther, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Lucy.
Yes.
Asante sana.
So, can you tell us all this about why are the young ladies moving with old wazes, age of their fathers? Those things never used to happen during our time.
They never used to happen?
No, not wazes, yes. Because yeah. But now it is so much.
Yeah.
You send your kid to the university, you hear she's living in Aligam, she's living in Kilimani, she's having cars, she's a student, she has all this, living with people who are the age of their grandfathers. Why is this?
I can simply say it's because the basic unit of society, which is family, has been deteriorated. And I say that the last generation of people who could get committed into marriage and get into the family way are people in your generation and my mother's generation. Wasichana wa siku hizi, you look at marriage and you get scared.
Why?
If you sometimes my friends in my age, they come and tell me, if this person comes to tell me today that I want to marry you, I will get scared and run away, because marriage is becoming scary.
Why?
People are coming from broken families and they have informed decisions from the broken families. The cost of living right now is going higher and higher. Women are now empowered. Women wameenda shule, and then they come and say, I've gone to school, I've studied, so I want to see the fruits of my studies. So in this studying, they lose the connection with the marriage thing, because during your days you can attest to this. By 24 years old, you were married, you had kids. Why? Because maybe your education system limited you to go further into your studies. But now, right now, at 25, 26, I am through with my degree. I want to go for my master's. So your commitment is different. In my mind, I'm saying I want to further my studies. I want to become a director at this age. Why? Because times have changed. The economy has changed. The standard of living is very high, and we have to adapt to it. That's why coming to settle down becomes an afterthought.
Esther, my question was not even about settling down. You mentioned the word empowered. You are empowered women. Does being empowered reduce you to getting sponsors and living with older people who are? Why would you, if you are empowered, why would you be living with older men? You should be living by yourself.
I was coming to that. Now, when you are empowered and you want to achieve, you have other goals in your life. This issue about maybe getting someone that you have to be with becomes an afterthought, as I was saying. So by the time you get to this point where you say that I want to get a boyfriend and now have kids with him, become a mother, get children. You look at the girls also have very high standards these days.
Than what? Than boys or than men?
They have really, really high standards, because I say the standard of living is very hard and they want to adapt to it. Now, if you look at people in your age bracket that you want to settle down with, they're not up to that standard. Who is up to that standard? It's the older men in society, older men who have had their life, they have made money. So girls tend to go for this because they can fund that standard of living that you want to adapt.
So the material kind of life that they would want in their life.
Which is necessary.
Okay.
The material kind of life is necessary because, like I said, girls these days have very high standards. They want good things. They want good hair. They want to make their nails. They want good shoes. They want to look good. You'll find a girl from the village comes to the city and she feels the pressure to fit in. So if you tell me that you want your boyfriend who you're going to the same class with, he has no money, he's a student like you see, he can't. If I tell him that, oh, I need to make my nails today, do you know how much it costs to basic? If I want to make my nails, the basic price of making my nails right now would be 1,000 shillings.
But why would you want the money from the young man? You already empowered the woman. You have your job. Why can't you do your nails?
Because we also look at men as providers. We look at men as providers. So if you have to be in someone's life, if you a standard girl will tell you, if you have to be in my life, then you have to provide for me. If you do not provide for me, then I will find someone who can do it. And that's why girls tend to go for these men who are maybe older because they can provide these things for you. And you see,
remember this older man you are talking about, he was also one time a young man. Maybe he didn't have all these things. He got married to somebody. This is somebody's father or somebody's grandfather or somebody's husband somewhere there.
But do we consider those things?
Why don't you consider? Maybe you also raise the same way you would start your life with your young boyfriend. You also build your life and make your money. Why do you want shortcuts?
Yeah, you make a good point. You make a very good point because at that point where a young girl is looking at someone, I don't think you come to consider these things. At the back of your mind, you know, yes, he was somewhere and he did this and this, but you go with the flow. You go with what you find, so you flow with it. You don't start thinking about, oh, he also was somewhere. He also had a young family. You go with the current situation and flow with it. And people say you only live once. So
and there was a point you said there about you come from broken families. I don't even think most of them come from broken families. They come from poor families where the parents have struggled, both of them, to bring you to the university. They have brought you there because they're expecting you also to have your family, that a good family, not another old man's family. I mean, you're into an old man's family. Also, some of these are even daughters of pastors and bishops, and we see them and we know them.
Yes.
So the question of the reason is because of the family you come from. I don't think it's a reason.
Yes, but it all comes down to an individual. It comes down to your individual and your standards, but the pressure is overwhelming.
Then from peer pressure,
societal pressure. We have Instagram, we have TikTok, we have all kinds of social media platforms, and you look at and you know this thing is not even happening in Kenya only. You look at there's a Russian female on TikTok that actually teaches girls how to find the sponsors. I will teach you how to find a sugar daddy. So it's not in Kenya alone. The pressure is too much and everyone wants to fit in.
So then don't blame your poor parents who go in Vihiga or who go in Masai land, blaming them. It's their fault. It's fault that you're behaving that way. So these are peer pressure and also like the social media pressures, societal pressures. I mean, borrowed the societal pressures because social media was not our African culture.
Yes, but even coming from broken families is also a factor, because you find some people who are in their childhood days, maybe someone said, I saw my mom struggle to do this and this, so when I get here I said I'm not going to do the same. So what are you going to do? Find an easy solution.
You find someone with money.
You find someone with money. Sometimes you can even find someone is a woman has her own money, but now when you want to come and settle down with someone, you find that maybe this man is not financially stable, and then women shy away from this part where I want to pay my bills, or I want to provide for the man. So they find a man who is higher financially.
So where do we see the future of our young boys now, young men now? If everyone is deserting them, you don't want them because they don't have this. Then where are they going? Do you think about that? Where is our country? Where is our society going?
At this moment,
At this moment, you don't even think about them.
You will not think about that, because, like I said, you want to find a solution to the
For
current
you.
situation
And
that
that's
you are
you.
here right now. And sometimes you won't think about my future life, or because if a university girl wants a monthly income and she has someone who can provide for it, who is an older man, it is that money that you need at that moment. Are you going to tell me that you're going to think about 5 years? You'll use that money for that moment, and then maybe in that 5 years you see what am I going to do in those 5 years. You'll think about it later when it comes. But now you want your problems to be solved right now. Right now. No,
So that you can match with the other women of your class.
Yes, and you can say that you can say that maybe they do that too because of societal pressure, like you said. But sometimes for some people, it's also because of the current situation that they find themselves into. Because maybe they come from very poor families that can't provide for them those things, and so all these factors combined pushes you to these older men. And at this point, I really feel like
they compete with the other students who come from well-off families. They have just the life, and you come from a poor family. You want to live the same life. I think during the booms, during our university times, we used to have money, and the boom, I think, used to neutralize. Everyone was balanced. Kila mtu alikuwa na pesa. Hata kama you are from a poor background, from what, we used to get a boom. We used to call it boom. Yeah. So I think that time it used to neutralize, but now it is you for yourself. And so you find other students and you start comparing yourself with them. But you also came from a high school and you are the same kind of classmates. Why was the pressure not in high school?
The pressure also comes in high school. Sometimes, like even in high school, a basic example was when sometimes on visiting days, some parents could bring more shopping than the rest. So you look and say, hey, we are little shopping mingi, we are little shopping mingi. So you start that. The pressure starts from there. Pressure is everywhere. So when you advance it to that level, you get to class, no one wants to be seen as what and
so then influence starts even from the boarding schools we take children.
Yes.
So maybe do you think we should abolish these boarding schools and you stay with your kids and get used to your life?
Maybe stay with your kids.
I think that's also influence.
Stay with your kids, because I feel even the Bible says, train up a child in the way he should go, and when they're old, they will not depart from it. Yes. If you train your child, because as much as you're talking about girls going for older men, there are also people who are striving to build relationships and get into marriage, committed and settle and sire children, continuity. So there are people, if you train your child, someone will get there and then become value oriented and say, no, I respect this. This is how I'm going. This is the path I'm taking. This is the path I'm taking. I'm not going to fall for pressure. So if you stay with your children, instill discipline, instill value, then that will go a long way.
So you think going to boarding schools also as well, because that is where they see these different kind of lives.
Yes.
So this one is better, this one has a bigger shopping, this one is more pocket money. That also could have influenced.
Yes, it does influence. But like I say, I really don't. Boarding schools they're not the best way to. Maybe you can take your children to boarding schools later on when they are mature enough and you've really taught them and told them that this is it, and you've instilled those values in them, and you've stayed. Also, parents should be friends to their children, so that children, when a child has a problem, she or he thinks about his parent or her parent being the first confidant So that way you can easily train your child and tell them that even if you come from this poor family, or even if we can't provide everything for you, when you go out there you're going to meet people who have more than you or less than you. So when this child comes from this family going into the world, they have the value in them. Because Lucy, I can tell you, it's not all girls that will fall into the trap of sponsors. Some people
So
have
there's
values.
this other problem which has been there lately. We've had a lot of, like the last 2 months, I've had a lot of universities, young girls, especially in the Eastlands. What do you call this place where they have been throwing? Roysambu area. It's all around the KU. Young girls, they are thrown on the 50th floor, 2nd floor, 40th floor, and it's become like every week
By
this is
their
happening.
boyfriends.
Why? Why this?
You will find maybe they have the sponsor issue. So maybe you'll find that the boyfriend find out that, oh, my girl has a sponsor, and then they get into a fight and they're thrown over the buildings. Because I told you, girls look at it and say, he's not providing for me.
So she goes for sponsor.
So she goes for sponsors, and she still has a boyfriend. And you can't get everything in one person. You know?
So you have to have different
Sometimes you can get love from your boyfriend, but he does not have money. Or maybe you can get the money from your boyfriend, but the love is not there. So depending on depending on how the person wants to say it, I can say, I have my boyfriend, but I can have this person who can also do this.
So you could be having the sponsors that you don't even love, but you love their money. And then the young men for love, that they don't have money.
So when you find when a boyfriend finds, men are very jealous people. So when they find out about this, what do you expect? You'll be thrown off the building.
But it's not even about men being jealous. Where are your morals? How can you say a sponsor here for money, a young man for love? Definitely.
Society is deteriorated. And
So could we even say these sponsors then are contributing to some of these deaths?
yes, they are. Yes, they are.
Look at the camera right there and talk to these sponsors.
You even saw the girl who was the one who had judged them,
Yes.
and then they died in a car.
Yeah.
So even these sponsors, sometimes someone said that sometimes when you meet when an old man meets a young girl, say, I will give you my son. But someone also said that my son has his own, he can do his own things. So where should I introduce this girl to my son?
I should have her myself.
And I want her myself.
Can you talk to those old men, those sponsors who are even causing death because of what you just told us? You have your boyfriend for love and you have them there for money. And now when your boyfriend realizes that something else is going on, that's the time you're thrown through the window. So can you talk to them?
Older men shape this society. You have gone ahead of us, and we look at you at a point of respect and role models as our fathers. So to stabilize our society, please leave the young girls alone and respect them as your daughters. Because the older men that are going for younger girls, you also have your daughters, you have your sisters, and you would not want that. It is the joy of every man to see the women in his life thrive. Now, if you go for the younger daughters, you are ruining their lives, you are destroying their futures, you are disorienting their thoughts. So do not go for younger girls. Please stop going for younger girls and respect them, mold them as your daughters. Yes,
Guide them.
guide them.
So you're saying don't go for them. Who goes for who? Can you talk to the young girls? Because I know if an older man came for you and you didn't want, it can't happen. Initially, you told me there's the girls who want a lifestyle that the older men have. What can you tell these young girls? Also talk to the camera. The university girls, or these girls who wants to have double love, double men, or three men for different things.
Young girls, let us go back to our values. Let us remember the good values that we have instilled in us. Let us not rush for the flashy life. because it is not sustainable. Build a life for yourself. Allow yourself to be loved. Allow yourself to be loved, and think about the long-term thing. If you're getting into a relationship with an older person, don't think about the moment. Think about the long term.
Thank you very much, and to add what Esther said, our young man was hard, our wazee mmesikia na wasichana mmesikia. We must shape our society. We must come back to our roots. Thank you so much. If you have not subscribed yet, please do so and stay tuned.